Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
It's the best day of the week. Yeah. All right. Cool. We made it.
Were you rested this weekend? You rested or?
I wouldn't say rested. I think I think we're all. I think the pattern of the 2021 year is going to be the fire has been lit, and now we're all trying to get to the finish line and finally get back to some normal.
I should say, are you recovered from the week before? But maybe that's the topic of the day, right? Recovery.
Yes, exactly. How are we doing on our different ends of the world? We got Golden and Central Time. What's going on with you guys? How are you doing? How's your week?
Yeah, pretty similar to the previous one and the previous one before that. I had a lot of plans for travel, maybe overly optimistic in January for work, but none are happening, and they're all being pushed at least back until March. So keeping some cool things on the horizon, just not as soon as I had hoped, and that's really, really tough for somebody like me who doesn't like to wait for things. Patience, although my 2-year-old has taught me a lot of it, is not my strongest value.
Right. In here we had a double lockdown, so I was even thinking to go back to the office after all because I started missing it so badly. So I was okay. I will just go last Thursday. Let's go to the office once to see. But then we had so much snow. Actually, it became so high. Okay, another reason not to go this time. But no, of course I do miss it. But it's strange. Still, some people goes there. It's just what is good, right? There's also a discussion a bit like, is it they're advising not to go back to the office? Some people just go. We're keeping it open, and I don't know. It's just now it just takes so long, and I'm just getting done actually. And I think travel is just one thing, but for me, already traveling to go to the office, it sounds like a amazing journey already. I go to different villages or something in here. It's already nice, and this is even blocked now, right? You can just can't go much. You can't even book a hotel 1 hour away from here because it's closed. So I really hope recovery will start soon, even though a bit already that you at least can travel a bit or maybe just more conscious. And even though when you have to wear the mask when you go for breakfast, I could all live with it. But just get out.
Yeah. No, I may get a little bit of flack for this, but I am not in Washington right now, so I'm in Florida. I did make the journey over to the other side of the country safely with a solid mask, a lot of hand sanitizer, and the best Alaska airline flight I could find. So it's nice to get out. It felt good. I felt comfortable as a consumer. So that was great to kind of see the execution of the things that we've been talking about, safety and security and all the other stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Like you said, Ross.
How did it feel for you to travel? Because you just step into a plane and you see everybody concerned. Because I think it's one of your first flights since everything started, or
Yeah, no, the middle seat was, no one was sitting in the middle seat, so we're kind of as spaced as we could, but everyone would seem pretty happy. Nobody was like walking around like people were talking and
don't cough. Everyone,
So can you imagine yourself? You're taking a flight and just we're just moving. We can go into the future. Imagine instead of Back to the Future, we go into the future, and it's January 2022. Thinks everybody's vaccinated. You think you'll still take a mask on your flight? I think I would, to be honest. No, I don't know.
I honestly, it's been almost a year, and it's just been almost a year, right? So it's like, how long can we, go without, at the end of the day, we got to move on. Like, not move on in the sense of it's a bad situation. It's just we got to start.
Travel, but I will just you can see I don't think in a year it did not disappeared, right? We can be realistic because if we see in Europe or the Netherlands, for example, there's still like maybe 1/3 says no, I'm not going to take the vaccination because I don't know what are the side effects. So there's still a huge big, I don't know how it's in the US, but in Europe there's the kind of big group of people just say I'm not going to take the vaccinations, right? And it's still, well, I have a family. Just of course you're a bit more careful, and of course it's kind of, are kids more sensitive or not? Are we not? Etc. Long discussions, but I don't know. I just really yes, I would travel as soon. Travel is a bit okay. I would just travel as soon as possible, but still take this mask. I remember in February when I flew to the US for my trip to San Francisco and the West Coast. I was wearing the mask in the plane in mid of February. I was the only one actually. So it was everybody looking at me like, because it was around the COVID and everything. Well, actually, my wife told me I had to do it, so I did it. So I hope she's watching. So I really did. So I was wearing the mask, and people were looking strange at me. And now it's a new normal, right? I want to say it almost. So
when I was in Portugal in March, and I flew home like the hours before the border was closed or whatever, on the flight there was a lady that was wearing a mask. There was one lady. And the flight attendants came up to her and said, "Ma'am, are you sick? If you're sick, you need to get off the plane." And she's like, "No, I'm just being protective. Like I'm just protecting myself." So yeah, it's that mentality's shifted a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's everyone's decision. If you feel like you want to, go for it. For me, like, I certainly wear masks until the point that it doesn't make sense to, but I'm not a germaphobe. I never have been. Like, I'm the guy that'll eat the worm out off the concrete for a free lunch or something. So that stuff doesn't bother me as much, and I'm young and healthy, so my risk factors are relatively low. Yeah. But
well, you're completely fit, right? You're just you're the Cristiano Ronaldo of the US, right? You're completely fit, or not?
I wouldn't label myself as completely fit, but I am a young, healthy individual. Yes.
Yeah, my excuse is that I've been vaccinated and injected with so many things through the military that I have no idea what they put in my body already. So I'm like, the other day, I think I've gotten every virus or flu that they probably had, and I didn't even know it. I remember my first year, 2014, I got injected with probably like 9 needles in one day. So who knows? And they do it every year too. So at the end of the day,
if you've gotten vaccines, then you don't really need the mask.
Yeah,
but I think
it's unclear in here. I don't know how in the US, if you have pretty clear plans, it's a bit like, yeah, somewhere maybe in the third, maybe fourth, maybe second quarter, we'll see you get your vaccination. So it's a bit unclear. And then it's like you're starting with this group, but then maybe it actually you're in the second. It's unclear in the Netherlands, for example, because I just pay my healthcare in there. But I don't know. It's still unclear, and I know it's not always easy to plan. I understand, but it's also like if you want to make plans, it's good to understand a bit, okay, when and how. And then you see, of course, there's a difference. Like the older people get the Pfizer, then the other group in here got Moderna. I don't know. It's in the US, so that depends also on which age group you are. You get a specific kind of vaccine. So
yeah,
I don't know. I prefer to, okay, I'll just pay for it. That one. I don't know. Maybe there's a difference, but if one costs 25 euro, I saw some reports. If one costs 25 euro, you need 2 of them, or does it no 12.5 euro? I need 2 of them. The other one cost $1. I don't know. Maybe the other one is better. There's also discussions now what you will get. Right? Is the other one better than the other one? Can I just upgrade to the other one? Can I just pay a bit more on the doctor? And it's
I mean, I think. I don't have a clear vision on what America is doing, but I have seen that a lot of big places like Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play, or Disney World are setting up massive like drive-through, get injections, and it'll be 20,000 people a day can go through it. So I'm confident that once we get things like that figured out, those infrastructure pieces in place, then it's gonna roll. And Will, can you bring up that graph?
I did not.
No,
I did not put it into the thing. My bad.
Slacking this morning. Basically, in the U.S., the herd immunity path with a mixture of infections and vaccinations is expected right there in the middle of the year, June, July timeframe, where we'll be over 75% kind of herd immunity. So, which bodes well, and it kind of aligns well with what happened last year on its own. People really started to travel again in June and didn't slow down really until kind of October. So likely schools are closed the rest of this year, likely not much travel. But we're getting over 50% herd immunity in this estimate in April. And I think, there you go. I think that's really going to be a tipping point for kind of the hardcore travelers, and the consumer travelers are probably going to be middle of the year and on to next year. And, I can't imagine how many people are just planning their big dream vacation, and, nobody's taking time off right now. So everyone's got all this time off built up. You can take a month off and go to wherever for a long time. So the amount of pent-up travel is promising for the second half of the year. I suspect 2022 will be a really, really strong leisure travel year, and the wild card there is business.
What I see now is like you see the of course the family owned businesses, the pubs, the restaurants, the hotels. They really have difficulties, right? My concern is a bit like, of course, the recovery will take a while. As you see, you just mentioned maybe during the summer months, probably when it comes back a bit longer. I think there will be a big shift. You see now, and I heard as well, by the way, is that it's some family-owned businesses. Okay, can I just sell my business? So I think some people which are wealthy, which has the capital, they're just going to buy. They're going to be private properties. They're going to buy real estate, etc. So I really think after this crisis, the rich become richer, and the hardworking people or the family-owned businesses, they will have difficulties now. And the one who has capital, they're just buying. Yeah, they're buying real estate, or they're buying hotels, or they're buying pubs like for bargain than before. So I'm really curious what's going to happen. And I know that Glenn Fogel said it some while ago. Like, yeah, hotels will still exist, but maybe with a different owner. And wasn't a nice comment. If I can comment on this, I think it's not really so nice, because there are a lot of family-owned businesses working really hard. But then also, yes, it will come back. But I think there will be a big shift in just new owners, and you'll see that it was shifting into the ones, indeed, what I just mentioned, the ones who has capital, they're just going to buy real estate, they're going to buy different hotels, they can become bigger, and more family business will disappear. And that's still the impact so far in the economy. When they say the economy is going to have a crisis, the impact is huge. So far, it seems to be okay. If you see the companies who go bankrupt, for example, in the Netherlands, it's not a lot. If you see in general what happens in the industry, I'm surprised, actually, because a lot of companies in travel, of course, they impacted, and you see the pubs and the restaurants, they're still surviving. But I'm really curious, like, how they will come out, right? Is it with huge debts? Is it with different owners? Because there will be impact there.
Yeah, I mean, some of these hotels were already on razor thin margins at 80% occupancy.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I've talked to a number of hotels recently, and they're still in the 10s and 20%.
Yeah,
it's a long time until going to be back in the greater than 50%. And again, I think it comes down to traveler choice. And I do suspect 1 night, 2 night hotel bookings with a business travel person isn't as much, and it's going to skew more towards business traveler brings his family along and they spend a week somewhere, and then they rent out a 2-bedroom apartment or a house somewhere. I think hotels, it is going to be a challenging coming years, and it's going to be up to how flexible and how creative they are to attract the business crowd, and also to attract the family crowd. Maybe it's 7 nights for the price of 5, or for the price of 4, right? It's just
good what you said about the length of stay, because we see, focusing on hotel bookings, right? You see the length of stay actually is less, is decreased. So people taking really essential trips, they're going as short as possible. So hotels before is okay, I'll just go 1 day earlier, I could rest a bit, maybe see the city center. If you really have to travel, even though it comes back, you're just going to limit it as much as possible. But maybe in short-term rental might be different, because then indeed you take your family, making it a long journey, or you go into this workations part also when you're flexible. But I think really, if you're looking at the hotel space, actually, and I just went to our details with our marketing team yesterday, it's okay, of course, there's much less bookings than 1 year ago. But what happened actually in the if you're looking at the length of stay, how much they're spending, and etc., is there a big difference? That yes, the length of stay actually in the hotels is less. So it means also, of course, the average stay of the average spend, if it's in the same hotel, is less. And even though then the prices also went down, length of stay is less down. So if you see that, even though you said maybe 20% occupancy, the prices are pretty bargain. So there's like limited in there. The restaurants are closed in many hotels as well, which is another difficulty because sometimes they need some extra income. So even though you have 20% occupancy, even 30, 40, 50%, even 50%, but doesn't even you're not even able to probably to pay. It's even probably less than the cost you have. So I think it'll be. I'm really curious what's going to happen like next year. I really think there will be a big shift and there will be some new I think the chains, for example, you can see they're still growing. I see announcements of chain hotels, for example. Okay, we open another hotel, we just get another hotel. And I think the chains will, and I actually shared a presentation somewhere in March, actually, and I'm not a fortune teller, but I actually said, like, I think the chains will become stronger than before. And actually it seems to be, because I think the chains is still opening. It's okay, it will come back. It will take a while, but we have some capital. Or when we franchise, it's like hotels has difficulties in branding. So I'll just maybe join a franchise now because maybe they could help me because I'm really down. I don't know how to get my customers back. I will join a franchise and yes, I'll pay 20K fee and plus some percentage. So I think at the end, I think the change will become stronger and stronger and then has more influence after this whole period.
I'm confident you're not seeing any bookings in January. Do you see any starting in March or May or beyond? I know the booking windows are also shrunk to virtually nothing.
Yeah, you can see a bit. It's starting a bit like around the summer. First of all, everything is like free cancellationable. Every booking, right? It's just nobody takes non-refundable with a bit less fee. So this is first of all. And you can see a bit that if they're choosing a bit the better properties, smaller hotels. So you see some differences, right? You don't want to stay in a major, huge hotel. You're staying in a bit smaller hotel, not always directly in the center anymore, so you don't mind so bad. You can see city breaks are just a disaster. When we had the majority of our bookings in the past was city break destinations. Now you still see more the places which are, like you can see maybe close to the coast or maybe hideaways or in a countryside. This is more popular now. So you still, even though bookings, of course, it's less than before, it's challenging and it's not a lot. As we don't focus now also on bookings, we have to be realistic. If the Prime Minister of Netherlands said you're just kind of almost like a retard if you thinking about holiday now, or what he literally said. It's okay. Yes, you don't. Yeah, you don't only when it's necessary. So people are afraid to book as well. Like, yeah, but also people are saying, if I book a trip now, even though it's half a year, my people say, you're going to really go on holiday already then? So I know people are afraid also of different opinions of other people. I think that's one thing. And if people start booking, they will start booking around the summer, a bit after summer. Everything is free cancellationable. And I'll not be surprised that they're booking multiple destinations. That's my second concern. What we see as well, that some people, they say, okay, and maybe not on our platform or they do book directly or somewhere else. Okay, I'll book 3 or 4 properties. I will book one accommodation on the coast in Croatia. I will book something, for example, in Dubai, and I book something in Tenerife. And then I will see in July where's the safest place to go. Which means the other hotels get last minute cancellations, which they're hoping for getting a booking.
Yeah. It's a bad place for the hotel, but it's a great idea for the traveler. One of my trips I was supposed to make at the end of the month was out to Hawaii, but they just put in a 10-day quarantine. And as much as I'd love to spend 10 days quarantining in Hawaii, my wife has other ideas. So I think as a consumer,
the workplace be 10 days longer, right? And not to be in quarantine at least.
Well, my big thing, like with focus on with like Slick Talk, we talk with restaurateurs, we talk with hoteliers, we talk with vacation rental people, whether they're service providers or managers. And the thing that I think is going to be the hardest the most is the restaurant industry and cafe and all that other stuff. They have thinner margins than what hotels have, and so to see that 60% are permanently closing, at least in the U.S. that adds
here,
to.
yeah.
Well, I was going to say that adds to the trip, the customer's experience. The why would I go to a staycation or whatever when I can't do anything? I can only stay at the hotel or at the vacation rental, and all the restaurants or bars or pubs or cafes are closed. And so for me, I'm hoping that, because we're talking about the question of, will we see recovery in 2021? Maybe not till Q3, Q4, but when it comes to the actual experience behind the trip of getting a coffee in the morning and going out to dinner with friends or a business colleague or that other stuff, that to me is where it gets scary. Like, we're looking at 2022 and further, unfortunately.
Yeah, who's going to want to open a restaurant in September this year? I mean, demand will be back, hopefully, but I mean, maybe a new strain comes out, and
imagine the impact when you can have less people, because they will put restrictions. You're just organizing your whole. If you're starting a new restaurant, even though you want to start something, you're just thinking about the interior, how to put your tables, how many seats. This will take a while. So at the end, what's going to happen? The restaurant has to really increase the prices double because they have less seats, because they have half of the seats left. Are you really going to spend €50 for a meal that was before 25?
And minimum wage and to like nearly triple. So tripling your costs plus cutting down your addressable market, cutting it in half. Right, that's
and the demand.
$30 now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and the demand of Uber Eats or Grubhub and other things that they take like 35% on the back end of the restaurant, that's already not making the greatest profit. And then now the customer is ordering a $15 burger for $40 with delivery and service fees and all the other stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. It gets a slippery slope when you go that.
That's what might change as well. That you don't see restaurants who just only do food delivery and they do not have any restaurant anymore. This is what you saw somebody in this, maybe I don't want to say basement, but somebody just having a place where there's massive production burgers, and they just only do delivery, right? It will be more common as well, and to avoid, and that's still business. Delivery works okay, but really have a physical restaurant where you have an experience.
I mean, I've always heard a restaurant job is the hardest job in the world because you have to deal with super picky people. Well, pull people out of the equation and running a restaurant is going to be great, right? You just deal with delivery drivers and send them on the way. So maybe it'll be a new era of challenging jobs. Is going to be the delivery man versus the waiter or waitress.
Yeah, no, that's true. We saw 300 chains open up under a specific influencer of just burgers and like a burger restaurant concept, but just delivery. No in-house, no nothing. And 300 stores or locations. So maybe that's something that we're not seeing.
See them, so you don't know if it's true because you don't see them, but it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, awesome. Well, any exciting news from your guys' end with, obviously we got Noiseware, we got Bidroom. So anything coming up for you guys that you're excited about that maybe, I don't know, just any kind of.
Coming Friday, I will be live. So because it's the Young Business Award, right? So coming Friday, I will be it's live on YouTube, some TV channels, etc. in the Netherlands. So if you're following the Young Business Award, and then I think like European time around 12, I think noon, or just check it. I'll be live. So I'm pretty fingers crossed I'll be in the final. So there are 12 semi-finalists. Then they will announce, I think, somewhere in February who's going to be in the final. So let's see. I hope it will look okay. I said last week they record me. So let's see.
How do we rig the election?
Yeah, I built a script actually, so it's automated. So I hope no, kidding. I think it was a jury of 5 guys. There was kind of Dragons Den, so a jury of 5 guys in there. So I think they making the decision. So I can give their email addresses or their contact details if you would like to influence them. So awesome. I sent them already like a check already to them and some flowers for their wives and stuff. So maybe it helps.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do. I love it.
No, I didn't do it, people. If you're looking at this, I didn't do it. Of course not. I'm honest, I'm fair, transparent, fairness. That's me.
Cool. He's the Elon Musk of subscriptions, so he's got to be fair and honest.
Yeah, I have to. Okay, so I think that's it for today.
Anything with you, Golden?
We'll look forward to same time next week.
All right, we're off.
See.